So, you know how people often put educational in their Unranked GM, but it's just them playing the game? Well, what if I told you that this Unranked GM would be more educational, more concise, and help out more people? The twist I've done with this is that for every rank between Gold and Champion, I've analysed and coached different Hazard players for each rank. It's a win-win for everyone. You get a more educational video, nobody gets harmed by smurfing, and I give out free coaching. Speaking of my coaching, you can check that out in the top link in the description. Anyways, I hope you enjoy. Gold 4 Esperanza. I am a DPS player from High Diamond / Grandmasters. I didn't really play much tank until Hazard's arrival. Okay. I'm looking at team comp-wise, nothing too much to say really. I mean, the main thing is obviously like making sure that you catch the Cass and Ashe when they're actually within your reach. That's, again, probably the most important thing for Hazard players to understand, is when you can actually go onto these characters, and at this kind of level, right? And not only that, but also when they're baiting you to actually go forward. And if this Ashe is like baiting you to come at her because she's swinging wide and she's too far away, all you need to be doing is just shoot the Zarya, and then the Ashe will be forced to walk forward. If not, you just kill the Zarya. And in terms of like the tank matchup, speaking of the Zarya, like she should be fairly easy. Like as long as you don't feed a high charge, she should be okay. And she's also got no high gun control, unlike you. So we'll see how this pans out here. Like literally, like immediately off the bat there, like this is within your reach. Like I'm fairly certain that this at the very least is close within your reach. Like this, you need to be leaping at this right now. You know, I'm not saying you need to be killing the Cassidy here, but what I am saying is, judging by the distance, this is around 20 to 25 meters, I'd say. You can leap from here to here. If you don't actually end up getting to the high ground, which I don't think you can because it's a bit longer than 15 meters, that's perfectly fine. You can just leap to here, use your slash, and then either get on the high ground with you using the momentum of the slash, or just slash the Cassidy and then hold this high ground, right? And again, this links back to the whole aggressive but safe idea, where this is an aggressive but safe angle, because this Cassidy can't peek you. If he does, you leap up and kill him, right? And again, if he doesn't peek you, he's doing nothing. So this is like a really important idea. It's unlikely that you're going to get the kill here because you're just not within range and you don't know the enemy tank here, but like you need to be soft engaging this for sure, you know? And again, you mentioned how, I was going to say that you said you're playing so aggressive. That's not the issue. The issue, and funnily enough, I mentioned this to Doomfist main, the issue is you're not playing aggressive but safe, right? This is an aggressive but safe angle that you need to be taking here. The issue isn't your aggression, it's how you're, using it. Yeah. That's just a missed opportunity there. That's good at least. You didn't get the one-shot combo off, unfortunately. Yeah, so you just leapt a little bit above him. It's a slight mechanical thing, to be honest, but again, like, if you've got the visual cue of the Cass walking, like, you need to pounce on that. Or that's something that you need to be looking for, like, pretty much all the time. All good, good isolation, a really good wall there. So yeah, you get the Cass off. Yeah, so like, the block here is like, I mentioned this to Doomfist main, right, where if you can't hit your shots, you'll end up blocking because you can't aim, basically, right? Block is, first off, there's two things with block. First off, you don't want to waste it because it's a very valuable resource that allows you to hold space for a long time. But second off, even if you are blocking and you're doing damage, you would be doing more damage had you just hit your shots, you know? Or like, if you are body shotting, you're still hitting more, your DPS is still higher, right? So I'm not sure if you know this, but the DPS on your gun is 150, and the DPS on your block, I think, as you already know, is around 70, right? And that's just body shots. So again, that will double to 300 if you're landing heads. Funny enough, I thought the Cass would duel me there, so I panic blocked. Yeah, so like, I'm not going to go into it too much because this is gold, but if you're scared about the Cass fanning the hammer here, like, now you'd be blocking, right? It needs to be, your block needs to be in accordance with the visual aggression that you see on your screen. And obviously here, you don't see the Cassidy fanning the hammer onto you, which is why you're not blocking this. So if anything, you should be blocking now, because again, you fan the hammer, you know? But you just don't see the Cassidy here. Okay. So I didn't put this in my guide about like when to actually cancel your wall here. Like, if you know the Ashe is on high ground here, like, again, this is a very clear opportunity to go ahead and try and one-shot the Ashe, you know? I mean, I don't even know if she has got Coach Gun or not. She probably, this is gold, so I wouldn't, yeah, she actually doesn't, right? So, but like, regardless of whether she has it or not, I mean, in this case, she doesn't have it, but like, this is like the clearest one-shot of your entire life, you know? And, you know, against the better Zarya, like, she can bubble this, of course, the Ashe might still keep Coach Gun, etc., whatever the case may be, but the point being is that worst case scenario, you get this Ashe off the high grounds and you force a bubble. That's worst case scenario, and all you invested was an elite for that, you know. And best case scenario, you probably get the kill here, and it's gold, so you'll probably get the kill. But again, like, you need to be spotting these reaches. Like, probably so far, it's like they've been the main key theme. It's like spotting reaches, or I'll say like positional triggers early on. Because like when you went onto the Cassidy, you were a little bit late, and then of course because you were late, you missed the slash and the block. Okay. Honestly, I don't hate your choice to go on the Zarya there. So again, this kind of comes back into the whole idea about if you force up the Zarya, there's one or two things are gonna happen, right? If you shoot the Zarya, either this Ashe and the entire backline are gonna walk up, which is good for you because you want that, right? You want them to walk up. You want to go onto them. So this is good in terms of like doing that, right? But second of all, if they don't walk and the Zarya just stands still, or sorry, these guys stand still and they don't walk, and the Zarya keeps walking, Zarya will die. So like it's a win-win either way. So just be, only thing I'd say here is just be a little bit wary that these guys actually might walk. That's the only thing I would say. But in terms of forcing up the Zarya here, I'm perfectly okay with that. What I'm less okay with is committing your leap there, right? And this kind of shows me that you're tunneled on killing the Zarya. And again, this relates back to the whole aggressive but safe thing, where if you're here right now, if you're standing in this kind of zone or vicinity, who can push you on the enemy team? Who can actually physically push you? Nobody, right? Like the Ashe, does she want to commit Coach Gun to high grounds and then you dive her? No, right? She's not going to come for you. Juno, Kiriko, they do no damage. Cass, he can't reach you because he's got no verticality. And Zarya, well, Zarya, you win that trade, right? If you go onto her, you win that trade. So you can stay here, right? And like that's like such an important idea. If you stay here and you literally just shoot the Zarya, you do two things. You first off give yourself the ability to force up the Zarya, as talked about beforehand, right? But you also give yourself the ability to go on top of the Ashe, the Cassidy, the Juno, whoever the case may be, right? Whoever it may be, you still give yourself the ability to go onto these characters when they walk past this choke, right? And that's like really important to understand. So if I play the clip here from top down, and let's say you stayed here. Let's say you stayed on this X point. Right, still stayed here, force the Zarya out, right? And now, all of a sudden, you can move from this angle to here and potentially punish that Cassidy, right? Or you can move from this angle to over here and then potentially punish the Juno, right? And then you wall yourself off and then keep yourself alive, something like that, right? But the point being is that if you stay here, you give yourself so many more options in terms of where you want to be playing, right? While still being able to force out that Zarya. So to put that simply, aggressive but safe positioning on this position, and a little bit too much tunnel vision on the Zarya. Just to put it simply. And by the way, like this isn't even specific to Hazard, by the way. Like this idea about holding this angle, if you're playing Winston, I'd still say the exact same thing, right? You stay here, you zap the Zarya, then you can jump above like this, you can jump above like this, you can jump above or to the cast like that. Still same idea there. So that stuff is like really important to understand on dive characters. War's okay. That's unfortunate. Yeah. Mechanics aren't clean, but I'm not going to cry about that. I think what you did there was okay. Block's fine. Okay. Keep walking, please. Yeah, so you probably already know like what the issue here is. But like, look at this Ashe, man. Look at this. What is she doing? Like this again, you need to like have a like you kind of need to have like a mental framework or template in your head of like, okay, if this Ashe pushes past this certain point, I'm going to wall off this Ashe. So like here, right, this Ashe goes past this like choke point, right? Like a wall here, and this Ashe is dead. Like I don't care what you say, or like if the Ashe gets bubbled, she's just dead, right? Like the Pharah spamming rockets, you get the boop from the the wall as well. You get the isolation as well. Yeah, like this is a clear wall opportunity, and I think this kind of, I mean, so far it's kind of been the case so far in this code, right? But a lot of the errors here aren't necessarily what you're doing. They're what you're not doing, right? And it's being able to spot like these certain things that you can actually punish. And the combo's fine, like yeah, sure you missed your first shot there, whatever. But the wall here is like the really important thing. And then right now, especially after you missed your one shot, like you need to be walling. Wall, don't block, man, don't block. Like, what aggro are you taking? You know, who are you blocking here? Boss man, who you blocking? Like a low charge Zarya, Kiriko who does no damage, Juno who does no damage. Like, you're not blocking shit, you know. There's no cast fan the hammer that you need to be blocking here. So yeah, you're blocking it because you miss your shots and you can guarantee damage. But again, as I mentioned in my guide, like the block is really only should be used when you're really when the enemies are like really low HP and you can guarantee confirm that kill. Otherwise, just use it. Just use it for defensive purposes. There is a slight niche use where you can use it for AoE damage, but that one is so niche that it's kind of like, you know, like unless they're like really clumped up, then it makes sense. But yeah, okay, let's see this rotation. Slight micro hit, to be honest. I think you leap it, right? Yeah, I'll just walk line. Like you probably spent too long blocking here, such that your leap gets back. And Hazard is so broken right now that your leap is on such a short cooldown that you are actually able to do this kind of thing here. But yeah, like just use your walk line, because then you can actually leap and kill the Ashe. Okay, still haven't used wall, by the way. Still have not used wall. Okay, that's relatively fine. Like you had your advantage. I still think you have some kind of an advantage here because you're still one person up and you've got more HP than the enemy Zarya here, and you would have had more of an advantage here had you walled up the Ashe, but that's okay. But right now, like this person needs to be dove. The Juno's playing really split at the moment, so like this person you need to dive. Like this is a clear positional advantage. Dive this person, please. Again, you'll need good mechanics to actually land the combo because Juno's got a tiny hitbox. But again, you're well within reach. You've got good HP. You've got all your cooldowns. But yeah, bro, go on the Ashe. Go the Juno, please, bro. But what took you so long, brother? No one's gonna sleep you. No one's gonna come for you, bro. No one's gonna, like, you're not gonna instantly die if you dive the Juno. You're not. You're okay. Okay? You're fine. And even if there was an Ana or anyone that could CC you, you've got cover and you've got a block. You're fine. You are fine. You are okay. Push the Juno. This is a free kill. This is a free kill. Yeah, it's like, so, like, by far. We've seen this for 3 or 4 times. No, 4 times actually. 2 times on the Cassidy at the beginning, right? And then 1 time on the Ashe just then. And then this time on the Juno right now, where this is a free kill. You're well within your reach. You need to be looking. Okay, here's what I'll say, okay? I want you to imagine, right, when you're playing Hazard, I want you to imagine you've got a 15 to 20 meter, actually no, I'll think about the range. Yeah, you've got like a 20 meter beam, right in front of you. Like, imagine your character just extends out a 20 meter beam, okay? Any squishy character that enters this beam, you can absolutely kill them. That is why Hazard is so broken, right? Like, this is like, I can't explain how important this is. Go in the practice range and get that 20 meter distance like thing correct so you can like visualize it in your head about how far 20 meters is. Imagine you've got like a beam that extends 20 meters, like in every direction, mind you, right? But probably the direction that you're looking at. So, there you go. Exactly, right? Kind of like that circle I described on D.Va. Like D.Va's like 10 meters, right? Because that's the range of a matrix. But you've got like a 20 meter, maybe even 25 meter kill range, to be honest, because you can do that B-hop as well, and you can get a good wall. But like at least 20 meters, you know. Yeah, and you're playing in a rank anyways that people aren't baiting, so they don't know what that is. Of course, the people like Doomfist Main are about to talk about baiting about, but like in gold, like come on, bro. And that's just too late. I mean, obviously that's too early. The dive itself is too late. The slash is too early. That's what I meant to say. But yeah, like what took you so long? I don't get it. Like, this isn't about aggression here, you know? This isn't about like you being too aggressive. It's about being aggressive at the right time and doing it in such a way that you're safe while doing it. And again, this would be a safe. This play, if you go onto the Juno, is safe but aggressive, right? Aggressive isn't always synonymous with dangerous. And again, I think that's really important to like understand. Yeah, I mean, I will say it's not particularly a revolutionary idea. I will say that the whole point about that sort of the jump range thing was kind of taken from Brawl when you're playing like Poke Dive, or just Poke in general, like any comp really, versus Brawl, because Brawl comps have like a say that you're running like a Ryan Lucio comp, right? They've kind of got like a 20 meter or like yeah, I'd say like a 20 meter like kill box or kill zone, where if you step in this like circle of death, right, you will die. Like they will come at you, they will rush you, they will kill you. I think that's like, you know, kind of taken there and taken onto Hazard there. It applies to most Brawl Dive characters, to be honest.
Oh, will not be claiming that one.
What is that wall, bro? We're pressing buttons. We're pressing buttons, low key. Don't use your slash, good. Swap, good. There we go, nice. Now you block. Block, oh, buddy. So this is good. So this is an improvement, okay? Like, look at the visual aggro, bro. There's actually shit you need to block. Right? Because there's an Ashe, the Kiriko's whatever, right? But the Cassidy especially as well. Double hit scans looking at you, you know? And look how quick your HP depletes. So you're at 433 right now. Not to mention, I think I maybe I mentioned this in my Hazard guide, I'm not sure. But I definitely mentioned it in my Malga guide, where the second you lose armor, you become significantly more squishy. And that's why, again, you need to be playing, not necessarily slow, but you need to be very wary of when your armor depletes or when it's fully gone. Like, yeah, after you miss, or like, not even necessarily miss, right? But like, after you do your one-shot combo, and you don't get the kill, that's fine, that's okay. You need to be blocking, okay? Because that's why. That's why, you know? And I don't want you to, like, necessarily think of this like an HP thing. Like, sure, like, armor is a point, like, it is a valid point there, like, it's kind of, like, raised, but it's about the visual aggro that you're taking with block, right? You're leaping into 2 lethal hit scans. What do you expect was going to happen, you know? You don't need to be an Overwatch coach, or like you don't need to be like a fucking genius or a rocket scientist to understand that your health is gonna go very low if you pick these people and you don't use block, you know. So that's kind of my main qualm there. And of course, another issue on top of that was the wall, right? Not only could you have walled off this Juno and potentially got on the kill, but also you can use the wall defensively like a Winston bubble and then continue to like play defensively, because this entire space is out in the open, right? But I don't want to get into that too much for now, because really the main thing's to block. Okay, so honestly, so far I'm actually happy with this position, okay? And again, the reason is because you can reach anyone from these directions, right? And another benefit is this space is fairly linear, which means that you can get good walls and get good splits. So, starting position, we're starting good. We're starting good so far. This is good. Okay, fine. Okay. Like, the Ashe is very, very killable here. I don't know why, A, you take so long to go on the Ashe again, and B, where's your wall? I didn't even spot that. Where is your wall? Hold up. Oh my god. People often complain about their teammates, you feel me? Like, and then I just see shit like this, and I'm like, okay, we're in bronze. Like, this is why you're gold. Yeah. How do you misclick your E button, bro? How? Like, okay, let's say that was a misclick, okay, that was accidental. Why didn't push this? Why not just wait like 2 more seconds to get your wall back? Like, you know? Just a little bit more discipline. I mean, again, you shouldn't have to wait for those 2 seconds there, because the Ashe was like feeding, but still. Slow. Okay, this is good, so this is aggressive but safe, right? Like, you've got a very good reach from the enemy backline if they just have to walk. Like, look how close you are to this Cassidy, right? So very good reach here, but in terms of the actual, like, UHP, not so looking good. But in terms of the position, good so far. Fine. Fine. Oh. And you really fucked yourself by wasting them early. You're also down 1 as well, so keep that in mind. And down 2 now. Yeah, get out. Just leave. Leave. You can sort this, but you need to leave eventually. Yeah, that's a good wall. Okay. So yeah, I forgot like players are gold, so you can there's a good chance you can win this, but in higher elos you would leave this in the 3v5. You can also just look for a trade as well. That's okay. But yeah, I think just preserving your life and farming ult charge from distance is what a slight preference to me. But yeah, looking for a trade is fine. Okay. Shoot your gun, bro. Oh my days. So like, I wouldn't have minded you blocking I potentially blocking the Sigma because of how low he was, but he obviously grasps, so he just sucks your fucking your shots and whatnot. But this casti's not low enough, you know. Again, I think in the actual example that I used on, what was it? It was New Drunk City, and I think the person was Bernard. I think it was in the hazard guide, but the Lucio was like literally like 1 HP, you know. He was like literally 1. Whereas this guy, you know, like again, you're doing more DPS had you just use your gun. It's a very simple fix. Like you would have killed that guy. And you just use your gun! Oh my god, that's so painful. Oh, that's so painful. It was so killable. I think that'll do for now. If I had to like prioritize the key things for you, in like a 1, 2, 3 thing. First one's reach, obviously. The whole like 20 to 25 meter like kill range. And obviously practice your mechanics with this. It'll come with time. You can do that. You can do that yourself in Vaxter. And then second thing I had to say is probably. I think block usage is like the easiest thing to fix. Again, mainly defensive, plus paying attention to the visual aggro, and then just as a finisher, wall usage. I think for you in this elo, it's mainly going to be about getting splits. Again, there's more nuance to that the higher you go up. But yeah, like there was some missed opportunities. I think it's a good way of putting it. Of course, there's like a lot more that I could go into about like your wall and whatnot, but again, if I had to say like the big 3, like the Kendrick, Drake, and fucking J. Cole of your gameplay, this is it, I'd say. So yeah, okay, next code. Okay, so immediately off the bat, like Swiffle like immediately sees the hazard playing high ground here, and I think a massive issue with the Plat hazard was they didn't understand or acknowledge or really capitalize on any opportunities that had characters within their reach. But obviously the hazard is much within the hazard's reach here, and then obviously Swiffle does the one-shot combo. So not too much to talk about here, to be honest. It's just the Ramattra feeding mainly. I think he takes a headshot from the Widowmaker probably, so that's why he's so low, but good actual understanding of reach here. And the pushing this is fine. The wall's good too, isolates the Reaper and the Kiriko here. Only issue I would say, or the only, not issue, but thing I would be wary of is the fact that you're going to be scared of the Reaper and the Kiriko here, and you're probably going to need to give space anytime soon. Your HP also might drop fairly quickly, so I don't think I would be a little bit worried about. Okay. So this is like relatively fine. Like even though they're high HP here, I don't actually mind you blocking to get damage off because you're gonna be taking damage against the Reaper anyways. So you might as well also do some damage back as well. So this is like one of those cases where you can overlap both the aggressive and defensive uses, and this block is actually pretty good. So far nothing crazy in terms of errors. One shot's good as well. I'm actually fairly okay with that. The Kiriko's very close. You're well within her reach, and if you get the one shot off, you're going to force Suzu, as you're going to did. So, again, so far so good. Perfectly reasonable. Okay, a little bit of clunky wall climb mechanics there, which is all good. Now, Swiffle goes for the hazard here, but, like, I actually don't think that's the best choice in the world. Honestly, I think it's fine to just poke up the Reaper here, but I wouldn't hard commit to this, because you're not going to win this against a Kiriko who's pocketing the Reaper here. I mean, I don't even know if Swiffle knows that the Kiriko's here, but if you do, don't duel this Reaper. If you do know the Kiriko's actually with a Ash or whatever the case may be, then I think you can absolutely 1v1 the Reaper. The wall is super easy to get here, and you can just win this duel. Reaper also does half damage against armor, so that's another benefit as well. But if the Kiriko's here, I would much rather Swiffle actually rotate wide and swing wide and actually go for the Ash Lucio here. Not only is the Ash Lucio more dangerous, but they're also easier to kill compared to a Reaper paired with the Kiriko. So that's kind of my main qualm here. But yeah. Force Wraith fine, and I think the second you force Wraith especially here, like leave, just leave. And I think the second you know that Kiriko's here, also just leave. That doesn't just mean, you know, walking off here, but that also means dropping off and rotating to the high ground here. And again marking the Ashe, because that's really important here. But yeah. Okay, and then we're just wasting block it, you know, like this is just time wasted blocking a Reaper who's not really looking to aggress onto you, you know, because this guy is not going to walk onto you if he's got no Wraith, even though he's got a Kiriko with him, he's got no Wraith, and he's not that concerned about you anyways, you know, so like he's going to be holding the space here, he's not really going to be peeking out and open in front of you, and also a Widowmaker with no Wraith, he's not going to be doing that, so again, a bit of wasted time here. Okay. Leaps again a bit clunky there. I mean, maybe the mechanics are going to be clunkier than I initially expect, but yeah. Fortunately, Widow kills the Reaper here, probably because he overextends. I'm actually curious as to what happens to the Reaper here, to be honest, because he really should not be peeking this. Oh my days, yeah, all this Reaper needs to do is just hold the space, because it's an enclosed space, so I don't know why he's peeking that. Not great. Okay. Right, and like, literally look at how low the rest of Swiftle's team are, because he's not actually marking the enemy Ashe here, right? If I go to the Ashe's POV and look at the amount of value the Ashe is getting, right? Moira's just got forced out, she got low, almost killed the Moira there entirely. If the hazard was on the Ashe here, that doesn't happen. And then I'm on top of it, whatever. And then contest the Widowmaker, gets a headshot there, contest the Juno. Right, like, this is why it's so important to go on the Ashe. And this isn't even just specific to Hazard, this is specific to any tank in the game. If you're playing Sigma, I'm going to say to you, mark the Ashe. If you're saying Winston, or if you're playing Winston, Doomfist, Bull, yeah, whatever the case may be, I'm saying contest this person, because this is the person that's actually destroying your team and preventing them from actually walking and controlling this area of the map here, controlling this area of the map here, and you can actually reach the Ashe. So that's really important. So a little bit of television on the Reaper there, to be honest. You're eventually got the Ashe here. Very lucky that your Juno doesn't end up dying, or frankly anyone actually doesn't end up dying there. Frankly, your backhand could have just got clapped by a single Ashe, but yeah, at least now we're contesting the Ashe here. And obviously, because we're playing out in open space, the wall's going to be harder to hit, so I'm not too concerned that the wall isn't perfect here. Obviously, it would be better if it was behind the enemy Ashe, or covering this doorway, or just again blocking or ice-hitting them off in some kind of way. So again, not an amazing wall here, but that's okay. Though I would break it. That's a bit weird. I would break the wall if you're gonna keep chasing the Ashe here, because you clearly haven't isolated anyone. You've got the damage off. Your leap's coming back on like a 1 second cooldown. Like, why not just break the wall and keep chasing the Ashe here? And then, yeah, like, I mean, he's doing the right choice in terms of chasing the Ashe, but yeah, very slow, like very, very slow. This Ashe should die. There we go. The Juno has to do the dirty work for you. Okay. This is all fine so far, just pressuring out the Rum Archer. Like, the Ashe is now dead, and there really isn't anyone else to go on, so I'm actually okay with you going on to the Rum Archer here. Yeah, I need to keep in mind of that, to be honest, because, oh yeah, because, like, I can see it's blocking the Juno Torb and thingy, yeah. So thankfully, in that example, I only had to show the Widow and Moira, to some extent the Juno as well, but hopefully the words that I'm saying kind of match that, so I'll keep that in mind. Cheers, but yeah, I've also made the chat smaller, so the chat used to be a bit bigger, but I've also made that smaller in case, you know, it blocks, but yeah. Okay. Fine so far. Okay, so I'll rewatch that again, because it feels like, yeah, so like you really should not be like having to lose armor for this, unless you're against the Marcher. So yeah, like just all you need to be doing is just playing your wall here and using it like a Winston bubble, you know, like just like juggling back and forth between the wall here, to actually use it as like again a Winston bubble to prevent damage, cooldowns, that kind of stuff there. And if you're playing the wall, these guys aren't going to get anywhere close to you because obviously because of the boop and the damage, of course. So yeah, like just play the wall and then you can strafe back the cover a little bit more easily. So yeah. Okay. And then here you just end up getting a little bit cock-blocked by the box, but again, had you actually strafed a bit more back to this wall, you would have saved your armor, saved your HP, done more damage, and you probably would have been fine here. But I think in terms of the actual positioning, this is actually, again, I'm keeping in mind on my webcam, this is actually really good. playing here, because if you play here while your team actually push carts, then these guys need to make a choice, right? If they want to force you out, they have to walk all across this open space to come and get you, which is not very nice because, again, this is entirely open space, which means that they can get forced out, or they have to do a slightly longer route, which is, again, not great, because if they go this direction, you can counter-rotate them, it's still out in open space, it still doesn't feel great, so, yeah, I think this is actually a good position to kite back to, because it's hard for them to reach, but also, you can actually still punish them in some kind of way, you know? You can actually play this corner, play this box, punish anyone if they go onto your team, when you push cart, maybe flank around here, go for a one-shot if anyone's coming back from spawn in this direction, and actually not too bad of a position there. So I'm actually not too against that position. Again, I think if you had more time, playing on high ground here would be better for the exact same reason where, again, it's very hard for the Remarch to clear you out, or the Lucio, or the Reaper, etc. It's very hard for them to clear you out, because you're playing high ground, Remarch can't really reach you, but also, you can just drop and engage on anyone coming underneath you, or coming from this side as well. So, playing high grounds here, or playing opposite angles, for that aggressive, but say, positioning is smart. The block is fine, you've got no armor, the Reaper and the Remarcher were aggressing onto you. Only thing here, I say, which is a bit of micro here, is the seconds they walk onto you like this, and then Wraith's force, and then block that he's actually blocking, then I would actually, like, stop blocking, because no one's aggressing onto you here. I'd actually turn around, try and catch this person, who's not got the Wraith form, obviously, and then you can go ahead and kill them. So, let's see what actually ends up happening here. Mr. Swiffle. Okay. Yeah, why so scared against the Reaper? Like, absolutely keep pushing this Reaper. I don't know why you back off there. You've still got armor. I think, again, if you see them TP, then that's okay. But yeah, I should have kept chasing the Reaper there. Okay, this is really bad. But this isn't really bad, but this is, like, really fundamental hazard macro. And I even mentioned it in the Diamond session 2, where you really need to be thinking or focusing about forcing out the enemy flankers first before you reach backline. Now, is the Lucio in your reach? Yes, he is. This guy is feeding his brains out. He is pretty easy to kill if you can actually land your shots. But the issue here is this guy is significantly more dangerous and more threatening if you leave him alone. And again, I think the key things with target priority that I generally talk about are how easy a target is to kill, but also how dangerous they are. Again, I'm looking at my stream, so it's not making sure my camera doesn't overlap here. But yeah, it's making sure that the target's easy to kill and dangerous. This is both. You know, the Reaper's got no Wraith, half HP, within your reach. This guy should be easy to kill, and you've got armor as well. Whereas the Lucio is just easy to kill. Okay. So you're probably gonna kill the Lucio here. Alright, yeah, you do. Okay. And missed the leap there again, so maybe you're a little bit uncomfortable with like the leap sort of, not range, but the leap height, the leap heights. But yeah, you can just wall climb up here, reset the wall climb with your leap, and then keep going. Or you can wall climb up here and then leap across like this. So probably the second one's better because it's a bit less clunky. But yeah, you need to be a little bit more, I guess, lenient to the leap heights you get. But yeah. Because, like, the Ash is just free here the entire time. I mean, the good thing is that the macro is good here, right? Because now you're actually marking the Ash, whereas beforehand you weren't marking the Ash. So, this is actually good. Right, and literally, look what happened right there, you know? Like, oh, I can't see it because my camera blocks it, right? But basically, the Reaper killed the Moira, essentially. The Moira's dead, as you can see there right there. The Reaper killed the Moira, and that's purely because Swiffle ignored the Reaper for literally no reason. You saw the Reaper was there, and this is and the Juno here as well. You killed the Juno here as well. That's crazy. But your backline just died because you decided to go into Reaper, and this is why trading backlines is so fucking bad, and this is why it's such a bad macro move. Because the worst case scenario, if you trade backlines, is that your backline will die, so your Juno, your Moira will just die, and their backline, i.e. the Ashe plus the Lucio, will just live. Right? And that's why you don't trade backlines. Do not trade backlines, generally speaking. Now, of course, there's some exceptions to that, right? But generally speaking, especially in this scenario, especially if you've got the weaker or squishier backline, which you do have the weaker backline or squishier backline compared to the Lucio Kiriko, and you're running a Widow as well. Especially if you've got the squishier backline, do not trade. You will just lose that trade every time. So yeah, Widow probably dies too. Yeah, probably dies as well. But yeah, bit unfortunate. Okay. Messed up leap there, sadly. And I might die as well. Like, now, of course, you're forced to, like, defensively block, but hell, even if you killed the Ashe here and you didn't fuck up your leap, even if that happens, you're still down 2. Like, your backline's still dead, you know? Like, this fight is still very losable, if not lost, because your Juno Kiriko are dead. You've got no sustain on point, you know? So, like, its trading is just really bad. Even if you kill the Ashe. Don't tell me you're gonna test Q here, don't do it. Okay, good. At least you don't waste Hazard ult there. That's like a really, like, that's like the most platinum decision possible, you know? Like, just going for backline all the time and not actually considering your surroundings a lot more. Okay.
No one can hide from my sight.
Emphasize game from Mumi. Yeah, here you're just lucky that your, like, the Reaper just died. So I can't speak. So here you're basically lucky that I can't even speak. I need to be more protect to this because I'm gonna edit this down anyways. But okay, so here you're basically fine because the Widowmaker just gets a free pick onto the Reaper, so you're allowed to take some space here. Funny word stream, my man. I'm going to ignore them and into backline V5. Thank you, Poppy. Okay, good wall. Actually, good wall there. So I'm surprised the wall was actually fairly decent there. So good wall. Good body block as well. I like that. And again, the block there I'm completely fine with because you're tanking aggression from the enemy Ashe and people on high ground. So I'm actually perfectly fine with that block usage there. I think that's actually really good. Dude, it was going so well. It was going so well. Like, the wall was good, the body block was good, the actual block usage in terms of the ability was good, but now you're just gonna fuck it up by using spikes for no reason. I get that you wanna, like, finish off this kill, but you've got a weapon for that. You know, you've got a weapon dedicated for that, and this guy is so low that, like, one body shot, bro, one body shot, it's not that hard to hit. It's not that hard to hit. Or even leaping, yeah, even leaping does the job here, you know, and leaping requires no mechanics here. I know you're in Vortex, but the Vortex is only bringing you down, and you haven't got to leap vertically anywhere anyways, so you can just leap this and you're fine. So yeah, that's really massive waste there, even if you hit the Ashe Kiriko here. Even if you do, right, I don't even know if you can actually follow up on this kill, right? I mean, it's generally a big problem with spikes in general, where you actually hit someone, but they're too far away to actually engage onto. But yeah, really not great spikes there. Okay. Yeah, okay, that wall there is a bit unlucky. I think that wall was actually fairly decent, but really unfortunate that the placement of it just wasn't ideal. But the thinking, the idea behind it was good. So I think I'll allow it. But yeah, overall, like, the mechanics have been clunky overall, you know, like, with the leap, and now with the wall, even the wall early on to first point, right, just, like, walling off the Ashe normally, and then you getting a good wall would have just killed the Ashe there, right, like, yeah, very clunky mechanics just overall, but yeah, chasing Kiriko here is fairly reasonable. I'm actually fairly okay with this. Why not, okay, surely you keep chasing the Kiriko if you literally see her fade and TP with the right. Like, you literally look over to the right side, you know that she's here with someone. Again, why not force these people out? You know they are literally here. At least you know the Kiriko's here, and at least you know that she's half HP with no TP, and you don't want her staying here. So why you would actually chase the Lucio instead of a Kiriko with no TP, I don't know. So yeah, again, you're actually going on the harder targets that's less dangerous. So again, target priority, big issue. Again, wall was a little bit janky there. A better wall and you kill that Lucio instantly. So yeah, surprisingly, like, micro or like clunkiness is a big issue, and I think the main thing I say with fixing micro is take your time, you know, be a lot more patient with your cooldowns, because I guarantee you take an extra half a second to wall that Lucio, you take an extra half a second to climb up a wall and actually use your leap properly, you're not gonna fuck it up. Like, it's almost near impossible to do that, you know. So a little bit of time goes a long way. Same thing with the leap here. Like, why rush this? Why rush this, you know? Like, you've actually got a good grace period when you use your leap, because the slash is actually, you know, you can actually activate it even when you're finished activating your leap and you're actually on the floor. So you've got time. Now he gets away with it, you know, he just gets away with murder straight out. And again, look at, I can't say look at the top right, but my camera's blocking it. But like, you can see blue there. You can see a little bit of blue emanating there, you know? And that little bit of blue, you can see right there, is the Kiriko. And she just got a kill on the Widowmaker. Again, how'd you put on the Kiriko? You'd get the kill and prevent her from actually killing your own Widowmaker. So, yeah, again, decision making, bad here, macro-wise, and micro-wise, you don't even kill the Lucio here. So, yeah, I mean, this seems to be a consistent theme so far, the entire VOD. So the leap here is completely reasonable. I think it's a good rotation to high ground, so fairly good there. And then the Widowmaker just completely AFK. It just has no idea about your existence, so you get a free kill. Okay, so yeah, this is also just a little bit of micro here against the Lucio, where when he goes onto you, allow him to boop you first, and then you chase him after with the leap, because you know for certain that he has to boop you away, right? He just has to. So let him boop you away, and then you can chase him with your leap afterwards and guarantee the kill. Yeah, here seems to be a little bit of tunnel vision here too, where you're very tunneled on the Reaper. And again, like, target priority, why go for the Reaper, right? Like, there's a Lucio right here who's half HP. Sure, maybe like you won't get the slash onto him and whatnot, but he's certainly more killable in that sort of state compared to the Reaper, who's full HP, probably got Wraith form. So yeah, again, target priority there, just a little bit weird. Okay, leap out's reasonable. Fine. Okay. So yeah, this is where we really get into the big things, right? Where this always happens, right? Where it's in the mid-fight, you've got 3 or 4 different options to choose from, and you don't know which one to choose, right? So let me back it up here a little bit and explain what I mean. The Reaper's been forced out. You've got multiple different options. You can, option 1, keep chasing the Reaper and catch him, because even though he's going to get the Mega, you've got Armor, Coalescence, and he hasn't got Wraith form. So if you chase the Reaper, decent mechanics as well, you'll probably guarantee the kill. The second option is to walk forward and actually just brawl the enemy Winston, shoot his armor down, chunk him down, and that's also reasonable. Third option, which is to actually wall climb and or leap up to the high ground and get to the airship, and then try and rotate and dive onto the enemy Widowmaker. And your fourth option is kind of linked onto this one, where after you keep shooting the enemy Winston, you walk forward and then you try and get a one-shot on the enemy Kiriko. Now, all of these options here is, I guess, it's not easy to choose from, right? Like, these are all, there's arguments for either one of these options, right? Where you've got, like, the dive playstyle here, the brawl playstyle plus dive afterwards, and then the straight-up dive playstyle into the Widowmaker. Now, ideally, you would like to go into the Widowmaker, and I've always said this in my guide, you really want to look for one-shots on the character, if you can. But the big thing preventing you from doing that is your reach. So automatically, like right now, the Widowmaker is years away from you. You cannot dive her, even if you tried, right? And the moment you get onto her, she's going to grapple away. So diving onto the Widow specifically, that option is actually completely limited. So you've got two options remaining. Either force up the Winston and go for the Kiriko, or keep chasing the Reaper. Going into the Widow is too far away, and again, I banged on about this entire VOD, how you want to be forcing out this person first before you go backline, right? Now, there is also the point that he's also got Blossom, so if you leave this guy by himself, he's going to hold this aggressive position, Blossom your backline, and your team will just die instantly, right? So that's also a point, but to be honest, you're not going to be able to tracking anywhere in this rank, so I'm not going to bring that up too much. But again, as a general rule of thumb, especially when your backline squishy, forcing up this guy and then going on backline later is generally the best thing to do here, right? So yeah, I don't mind actually you shooting the Winston a little bit, but making sure that you keep this guy in check. Making sure that if this guy walks around, or this guy walks up here and flanks around, that you're onto him and you force him out, because if not, he's going to kill your entire backline. For Reddit alt accounts, the farm karma, bro, I've got like 46,000 karma on Reddit, bro. I think I used to be like a power Reddit user back in the day, but yeah. Like, again, going onto the Kiriko here is like fine, like I'm not gonna hate you for doing this, right? But again, if there's more efficient options in terms of forcing up the Reaper here, right? If it was okay, one shot's okay. Yeah, not great. Yeah, and your team's gonna get outbrought there, right? So if I zoom out here, and let's look at what the Reaper does.
Locking satellite!
So your Juno orbital raise, the Reaper's on an insane flank behind your Juno, by the way, and I believe eventually kills your Juno here. Right, so yeah, goes with the Juno. But like, look how free that Reaper was the entire fight. And you could have fixed that by not tunnel visioning onto the enemy Kiriko and just forcing out the Reaper there, right? I don't know if you're just too scared to duel a Reaper because he's big scary Reaper with shotguns, but again, if you're full HP and he hasn't got Wraith, you should win that 9 times out of 10, even 10 times out of 10 to be honest. Onto the hazard here, I think the first one absolutely has to be decision making. Well, actually, I'll say the first thing is slower decision making with regards to forcing out enemy flankers / frontline before going for backline. The second thing I'd say is a little bit of patience with micro, fixing the clunkiness with leap / wall placements by taking an extra half a second to actually place it. And then the third thing I'd say is target priority. And again, this links into the first idea about forcing out flankers beforehand, but this also links into, again, tracking cooldowns and also knowing when a target's killable. How do you get a hold of a Hadi code? What do you mean? I just DM'd him. That's what the bro put. Bro puts was hard stock Plat 1, 67% win rates. Comms and okay. So this should be fairly. I don't know how like representative this is going to be of like this guy's gameplay, but because he's already Plat beforehand, I assume there's going to be quite a few errors here. Okay, the soldier, he's feeding wall. Okay, so we're missing opportunities and more opportunities than more here. Yeah, so like I may be scared that the Genji's going to deflect him. I think I said a similar thing to Doomfist main about Brig shield blocking the actual wall, but like at the very least, wall somewhere in this vicinity past the Genji here, because it is worth getting the wall there because the reward is so high and the risk is very low. So yeah, potentially missed opportunity there. Wall is okay. I don't hate that wall because it is kind of zone the enemy Marcher from the Juno, so I don't hate that wall. And let's look at the slash here. Okay, goes on Juno, gets a good target priority. Okay, I think they're probably coming that the Ram's really low here, so that's fine. Okay, not too much to add here really. Good wall. Good wall in terms of the actual timing of it, not the placement, because it's a little bit off there to not isolate the Juno, but that's okay. Alright, and then point unlocked. Okay, not too much there, that's fine. I'll say potentially missed wall on Genji. But barring that, mechanics seem a lot cleaner. Walls are more responsive. Pays attention to one-shot reach a lot more generally. And then, but that's pretty much it for first fight. Okay, second fight. Okay. Zarya now, okay. Fine, block. So yeah, again, this is important to understand about like soft engaging, like, especially against an Ana for CC, but also the Zarya as well, because she can bubble your one-shots really easily. So again, bubble attention is really important, but also soft engaging, which again, you're doing quite well. By, again, jumping on the high ground, dropping off the high ground when you get slept and naded, which again is really good. So, say, soft engaging Ana, Zarya in a good manner. Okay. And now, like, you've got one extra pick. They're low HP. They've also used their cooldown, so now you should be looking to hard engage here. Okay, probably wouldn't have used Leap there. again, it comes back off on such a, like a, the cooldown's so low on it, but again, I think in the future it might get nerfed, but regardless of whether it does or not, if you, again, just walking up here and then wall climbing this, and then you can actually get within reach to one-shot these people is really important, because, again, your leap is to, again, reach that one-shot. It's not just for the speed things up necessarily. Like, yeah, I mean, like literally right now, like, I'm not saying that these guys are, they're probably without your, not without your reach, sorry, but they're probably just outside of your reach. So here in this case, like, going on the Genji would make more sense. So you could wall right here, force up the Genji, force these guys to walk back, and then look to potentially go further. This is when we get into some more complex macro, where from here, it looks like the enemy team are baiting, because their frontline are pushed up quite far, their backline are quite far away, which means if you go on the one shot here, this Ana should be okay in theory. I mean, she has low HP, she's got no cooldown, so you might still be able to go on the Ana here, but it is important that you don't want to be overextending your reach in the higher levels, because you can get punished for it very easily. Like, I don't know, maybe this Ana gets bubbled, maybe you get burnt down by the Zarya here, the Genji turns and forces you out. So yeah, it's really important that you don't get forced out by overextending your reach. Again, in this specific fight, it might be okay, because the Ana's got no cooldowns, and she's half HP, and you're also 1-up, because your soldier got a pick and whatnot, but something to keep note of. Okay. I think the wall, again, the second time where wall placement hasn't been ideally perfect here, so I don't mind you pushing up here, right? Because again, you've got a good advantage here. You've got numbers advantage, and you should have like a decent HP advantage as well, because again, Genji's fairly low. But here in this example, you should be splitting off the Ana Juno here and looking to force up the Genji, which is really important. Especially when you're running more mobile comps, like as you are right now with the Lucio and the Sombra and Ewan Hazard here, like you can very easily 2v1 this Genji. Which again, important to understand. So I'll say this. Forcing out flankers / frontline characters like a Zarya or Genji first, right? And then the way you do that is twofold. Using wall to do that by causing or by splitting off the Zarya from her Ana, and then you can also do that by saving your leap to punish overextending flanking heroes like the Genji. Because like right now, you need to be going into this person, you know? And again, the idea isn't necessarily that you get the kill, the idea is that you force this person to fuck off and run away. And hell, you might even force a bubble with that as well. But that's kind of the idea here. Okay. Okay. To put it another way, like, that Genji should have no space. This Zarya should have no space. It's kind of another way of looking at it. The soldier as well should have no space. Okay, let's do that again. I think the leap's okay. Yeah, so it's a little bit preemptive on the leap there. I'm not sure what your intention was in terms of slashing the Zarya here, but again, there's Genji, who's half HP, mind you. Good target to go on, you know, and again, forcing his ass out. Wall Zarya, please. Wall. So yeah, very tunneled on shooting the Zarya here, that you have to forget that you get your wall back. And again, if the Ana, and these guys have got very high single target healing, if you're able to wall off the Juno Ana, again, another missed opportunity there. So maybe a little bit of tunnel vision there. Third fight, we'll say, or third cycle. A little bit of tunnel vision to not wall off Zarya, but leap was good. I think the leap was actually fairly fine. Slash was a little impatient. Okay. Okay, fine. I'm actually okay with that. Okay, well, hopefully you kill the Juno here, because the Juno is feeding here. But I'm actually okay with that, because they can't take space if their Zarya's dead, so I appreciate you living your life. Shoot the Juno, man. Is Juno, like, that hard to hit that people will just block anyways? Like, but yeah. Okay. Sure. Soldier next. Fine. You can cut him off. Fine. Again, the key isn't like, even though you did nothing against that soldier, that's not the point. The point is that you're forcing him to run away and go back to his team. Which is again perfectly fine. More than fine, actually. Okay, have you got... Just checking ults here. See, again, I don't know what the communication is. You say one of your supports are playing with you, so you might look to go in early with Nano Boost here. Again, that'll be okay. We'll see how this pans out. Ooh, okay. Bro just teabagged instead, Lucio. I think maybe that's the guy you're queuing with. Okay. This wall though is very weird. Yeah, there's no reason to wall that. So yeah, wasted wall. It's like 4th cycle now. Wasted wall on playback. Hopefully that doesn't bite you back in the ass. It might. It probably will. Okay. Why do you stand still here for so long? So again, that Juno, had you walked forward, I'm not saying that you're gonna hit your every single one shot in the world, right? Because she's moving in there and she's hard to hit. But again, you can force a bubble out of her, you know? You can force a bubble out of that Zarya, you can force the Juno to back up and get some space, right? And that's the important thing there. And contest point, mind you. Missed opportunity there on the Juno. Blood, why are we standing still? Blood! 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 What are we doing? Like, what are you scared of? It's kind of my question here, because you've got cover. Right? Like, again, this is an aggressive play going onto the Juno, but you can do it in a safe manner by playing the pillar here, you know? The Zarya can't push you. If she does, she's feeding, you know? You win that frontline trade against Zarya most times, 9 times out of 10. So far, though, genuinely, the reach has been better. That somehow forces out a bubble. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna complain about that wall because the fight's lost, so you know, you can just wall that, that's okay. Okay, yeah, like, you know, now would be a good time for wall. After the bubble dissipates, obviously, but now would be a good time for wall. Okay. That's unfortunate. Ooh. Don't want your block. Good wall. So just unfortunately you just missed your cooldowns there. I'll rewatch that back a little bit because you might be rushing that. We'll see. If your reloading is good, and then you don't shoot beforehand because you're reloading, I think. And then you miss a slash there because you're a little bit impatient. And then you end up blocking. Okay, so we'll just say 5th cycle, little bit more patience when going onto the Zarya. To land the slash plus dots. Okay. Walls, okay. And this is like so I really hope you're gonna do what I think you're gonna do here. Because even though you miss, and this is like really important, okay, this is probably gonna be the most important thing out of this entire VOD so far. You force up the Zarya, right? And even though you basically miss all your abilities, look at what happens from the enemy team here. Right, look. They're walking forward. They're walking forward, right? So this is like so I can't stress how important this is. Like, if you want to go on these squishies, you need to be forcing out Zarya here, right? But I don't know if you're forcing out Zarya because you wanna like kill her, right? Or like you feel like you know she's more killable than these targets, which most times is not the case. But like, two things are gonna happen here. Either these guys walk up, in which case you one-shot these guys, or they don't walk up, they stand on point, and then the Zarya dies. Right? So I pray and I hope that unless the Zarya is really low and really killable, then you go onto these targets, and you don't tunnel vision on the Zarya. That's like so important. So I can't stress how important that is, like understanding that. Like look at this, look at this. Right there, bro! Right there! Like, that's... Like, yeah. I don't know what else to say about that, to be honest, but if these guys are playing too far away, force this person out. They will walk up. If they don't, this person will die. You know, it's a trade-off. And like... Missed opportunity, man. So, you got a buffet. Like, it's like you're at like a 5-star Korean buffet, and you've got like an entire roster of options, you know? And you just miss all of them. So yeah, really unfortunate there. at least you do. Yeah, okay. At least you got the Moira here, right? But, like, I'm not sure. That's just a misplay by the Moira here, to be honest. So at least, like, you know, you punish the Moira for doing this. But again, in higher elo, this is like so important, you know. So like, we'll say again, tunnel vision on the Zarya, therefore left unaware about the backline walking up. Okay. That's an actual good use of block there, by the way. So I'll bring that up as well. Good use of block as a finisher on Moira. And again, I'll use that as like a comparison against the other guy. Lucigo, whatever the fucking name is. Okay. Fine. Good. I mean, he's within your range, so I'm okay with that. The range is a lot better. Awareness, though, I wouldn't say is. Because again, you could have gone on that backline. What a white. I just praised your block usage a second ago, and I'm seeing you right now. It is bugged, by the way. You should be lagging your shots. It is bugged. I don't know why it is. I think Doomfist main, like, I was coaching him like last Monday, and like he had the exact same block bug on this exact same map. So I don't know if it's like this map specifically, but like, yeah, I don't know what it is. But you should be blocking this anyways, regardless. You're like, you do so much DPS on your gun, man, and you're nano boosted. Like, use your gun. Okay, I'll say still questionable block usage. Okay. Yeah, 17 minutes roughly. We'll do one more fight and then we'll go into the next code. Because I do want to get through this fairly quickly. We'll see how spikes are used here. Yeah, I haven't looked at spikes yet, that's important. Okay. Leave. I mean, if you're gonna over ult it, then sure, but like I would leave. In a high elo, you'd leave this. Because you could just leave the point and then they've just wasted orbital ray, and then you can use spikes afterwards, but it's fine. It's diamond. It's not like perfect macro. They're within your range, that's the most important thing. You're gonna need to block that, bro. Why greed the one shot? Like, you've got so much time to be able to. I said this to Doomfist main as well. When you're blocking, you're doing nothing. You're basically doing nothing, right? So use this time, this 3 seconds, to think about your next move. Because had you done that, you would have blocked right in front of you. You would have put it right in front of you, right here. Like, just flick downwards, and you would have put it right here instead of putting it behind the soldier. Because again, your goal is to live. Not just for a one shot, you know. Again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you lived that. It matters what the principle was, and the principle was bad. That should be point. Yeah, that's point. Okay. We'll do a quick summary. We'll say number 1. I'll say this. I think the most important thing that you need to be aware of is knowing to do when you can't reach backline. Still some missed opportunities. So I'll say like missed dive opportunities. So for example, the Juno on points or the Genji on first. And again, I would classify this as like aggro, but safe. And then third thing, honestly, just a bit of micro. Block usage wasn't great. Also, it was better than before, and obviously it was better than the gold player. But yeah, block, using your gun over your block. What else? Patience with combos, and then some wall placements. That's how I would order it in importance. So this is generally micro. I would leave this. I wouldn't leave it to the last point, but it's like you'll fix that passively is kind of the idea. And then these 2 things are like the broader picture, bigger picture stuff. That's like really important to understand. Okay, now on to the master player. The 2 things the one thing I will mention is these guys both have mobility. And in the previous codes, we've seen characters that also burst mobility. I should be more specific. Both these characters that have burst mobility, and the issue with that is it becomes harder to get the range correctly, because when you're playing against Cassidy or Soldier or fairly immobile characters, then it's fairly easy to actually punish them. But these guys, they can dash out immediately, so you can get baited really, really easily. So that's something that's really important to note. How long do you think Hazard will stay meta? Until it gets nerfed. My big thing with Hazard is, the reason why he's so broken is because his stats are just overtuned. And it sounds really, like, generic, right? But, like, you get your leap back so quickly that you can get one-shots all the fucking time. Whereas Doomfist, you have to go through, like, 10 different cycles to get your empowered punch, and then it's arguably harder to land against most targets than compared to, like, the one-shot from that you get from Hazard, right? And Hazard's got more sustain, Hazard's got a better ultimate, and he's got more utility. Like, Hazard is just a better Doomfist in pretty much every way possible. Barring his burst mobility, but that becomes so niche at the top levels anyways. But yeah, okay. Okay, rotation's fine. So yeah, I should have mentioned this beforehand as well, but forcing point is also a really good way of getting these guys to come closer to you. So that's something that I will note here as well, so this is good. Okay, fine. Okay, just... bruh. But yeah, obviously, Pepega pin. Just didn't know that at all. Yeah, not much to say there. It's a little bit of a lack of awareness on the pin.
Will not be claiming that.
Why dive this? Like, why? This is a hard engage, right? Because A, you're committing all your cooldowns for it, and you'll block it in a moment. B, you can't stabilize it, right? There's no cover. So if you're gonna go for soft engage, I think that's okay. I just want you soft engaging to like here or like here, you know, where you haven't got to use your HP, your block, or your wall. You're just forcing the brick to walk back, and then you can force point, force it to come closer, etc. But yeah, very odd engagement there. Like you forced the brick to walk away. Congratulations. Clap, clap, clap. You could have done that by just walking forward here, slashing, playing cover, or walking forward, if he's still playing here, walking forward, slashing, cover, you know, and then you go again. So yeah. Nice. Okay. I don't mind that engage, or that cycle rather. You'll get your cooldowns back in between fights. Like that, what you did there, you should have done against the brick. Like literally what you did there, because what you did was force the Genji to fuck off, right? So literally what you did there, do against the brick. Okay. Good spots. Yeah, really good reach so far. So that was actually really good. Yeah, so like you could have avoided the pin here by just, I'm not sure if you can stun on this. Ideally no, right? So like this is I've said this to Doomfist main beforehand as well, or like he's in chat. But what was it saying? You don't want bad positioning to force bad cooldowns, i.e. you're forced to use block here because you drop off the high ground, to put it another way. But it's a bit of micro, like it doesn't really matter that much. This fight's already won, so yeah, I'm not too concerned about that. And it's map specific too, so. Okay, so this isn't that bad, but like, why are we walking forward, gang? Why are we walking forward? Why are we forcing this play? You've got a free kill. This Sojourn wants you to walk forward here, right? I think another way of looking at it is, if you're looking at the Sojourn's POV, right? She should be constantly asking herself, do I want the Hazard to come at me? If the answer is yes, then you're not close enough, right? Again, you look at that POV. She shouldn't. Right? I mean, she's scared of the mine, right? She's scared of the mine, not you. So yeah, a little bit of a weird engage there. And again, you're not gonna get punished for it because you already got the Genji, and the Sojourn's so far away. But again, it's not a good habit to get into. Okay, good. Walk forward. That's a bit unfortunate there, admittedly. I'll see if you have any more information to your disposal there. Yeah, I mean, the real question is, why rush this? What causes you to rush this? Like, are you just scared that the Sojourn's gonna farm Railgun off of you? Like, she's gonna farm rail off of you anyways, you know? Like, when you're blocking, she'll just farm rail. So, I don't know why you wouldn't want to keep walking here. And not to mention that the Reinhardt can't contest you. Juno, she does fuck all. Briggs doing fuck all, and she's playing split from her Sojourn as well. So the target probability is good. It's just that I think you could have been a little bit more patient to go on the Sojourn here. Yeah, just play slow essentially, yeah. There's no reason to rush this. You're good HP as well. You're rushing your shots there as well. You can see you're rushing your shots. Brother, she's not even looking at you. You're chill. You're okay. So yeah, you missed that shot there. Missed that one too, partially. That one's fairly okay. So yeah, very unfortunate. Okay, we'll see this wall here. And I know doing it at 0.5 is a little bit rough. I think wall's okay. It splits the vine, which is fine. Yeah, fine. Yeah, nice. Good wall. Yeah, that's it really. Okay, fine. Again, I'd prefer you to just walk and then you can actually use all that. Like, had you just walked here, you could actually just jump and go for the Sojourn, you know? So, again, wasting leap. And when that thing gets nerfed, when your leap gets nerfed, it will bite you. It will hurt you a lot more. Again, you're lucky that it's just a short cooldown. Don't read it, thank you. Good wall. Nice. Okay. Yeah, forcing out Genji. That again, this is good. This is good. Forcing out Genji, unlike the Diamond Hazard. Yeah, it is actually really good as well. Obviously, it won't apply on this map specifically, but in general, it is really good. Okay, how are you at? Yeah, it'll take some time to get used to. Okay. Did you know the Juno was there? Or were you just leaping out because of the stop the shot? Okay, you didn't. You're just leaping out because of the stop the shot. Okay. Sure. Wall's okay. I mean, what do you see here? Okay, I think the wall's okay. My thing is like, if you're gonna wall this, go on the Genji. Because again, this guy is very easy to force out, you're within his range, you walled the Vile off as well. This should be a time to actually go for the Genji here. Genji, please, thank you. A little bit late there. Luckily he got low, but still. I don't mind the block there, to be honest. Okay, defensive wall, fine. Why wall climb on your wall? Yeah, okay, very odds. Very odds. I also want to see. Wait, hang on. You get slammed there. What are we doing? Whoa, buddy. Okay, why are we leaping onto a Juno in Orbital Ray when we're 180 HP? Why not kites? Live to fight another day. The only trigger you have to go onto the Juno is positional, because she's out in open space and you're within her reach, right? But everything else is telling you, don't go for this character. Orbital Ray for start, and your HP for second start. That should be enough to tell you to leave, right? And live to fight another day. Why are we here, gang? Why are we here? And your Briggs rallying, you could have got that too. Ooh. That's really rough. Yeah, that's really rough. Like, of course, generally, I think this is where we get into playstyle stuff here, right? This is where we get into playstyle stuff, because generally, of course, you should be trying to zone the enemy backline, but when you've been shattered and you've got no resources to actually zone, you need to leap back. So I don't know why you're greeting this. We'll see how you use your ult here. Alright. Okay. I was looking at your tire there, to be honest, I wasn't paying attention. Everything here is so relatively fine. What did you wall?
Ladies and gentlemen.
That's gonna hurt.
It's a rush wall, man. What? It's a 12-second cooldown. And here's the thing as well. It's like it's not just impatience because the placement of it's not very good, but it's impatient because you can't aggress onto this. You've just used your leap, buddy. Even if this was a good wall, you can't aggress onto it immediately. And I was telling Doomfist main this, where even if you're playing Mei and you get a really good wall, if you're 30 meters away, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because if you're 30 meters away, you can't follow up on it. And it's the same thing here. You can't actually follow up on your wall. So impatient wall for like 2 reasons. And again, your wall can be a trigger as well, in and of itself, to actually reach someone and go for a hard engage. Good wall climb. Good. But again, you haven't got wall. You know? Like, you could have walled that Sojourn and then got on a free kill. But you have to waste it. So,
again.
yeah, it's really unfortunate. I mean, the combo's good. You're baiting the Sojourn to walk in because points being forced and they're walking forward here. So, I'm perfectly fine with this. But yeah, it's just... The wall, man, the wall. Yeah, visual aggro. Again, waste the wall again. Who's looking at you? Who? Tell me who's looking at you. Brig? You're scared of a Brig? Is that it? Right, Sojourn's de-peaked you, but you don't know that because you're not looking at it. You're just panicking. Only Brig, right? Exactly. Reinhardt, he can't do shit to you. Kiriko can't do shit to you. Like, yeah, I think one thing I will say as well. Coffee mentioned this in my the full interview is you need to note the damage of the enemy backline. I think one of the biggest weaknesses of Brig, of Juno, and to a lesser extent Kiri, but one of the biggest weaknesses of this duo is the lack of damage. They do nothing. They do nothing. Like they literally do nothing to you. And that's like so important to like understand because the second you start playing against Ana, Zen, even Lucio, Kiri backlines a little bit more, because they output more damage than Brig Juno can, then you can start using your block a little bit, you know, like this for example, or your wool even. But like yeah, like Juno Brig does no damage. It's pure sustain. Okay, let's do this again. I'm okay with that. It's a little bit risky, but considering that you know the Brig's like, you know, past here, I think the placement of it could have been a little bit better to catch the backline characters. But yeah, I think the timing of it is okay. My only qualm, or my two qualms, are again the placement, and also you can't flop on this again. Like even if you kill these characters or you root them down, right? You can't follow up on this. Or you can't do it as well as you could have done had you had your leap and your wall. So, and the aggression's not matching. Hey, what is she doing? What is that Kiriko doing? Plotted, bro. So yeah, in other words, like when you're given an advantage, or when like the Kiriko TP's in, or when the Brig overextends, or when the Sojourn overextends and you bait her well, you can actually go for that one shot, right? But the issue is what you're doing when you can't go for the one shot, I think, for the majority of your play. So actually, we'll take a little look at second point here as well. Okay, Baptiste. Okay, great. Good wall time play. Good. I like that. Like that. I'll say that actually. Holy shit, nice one shot. Okay, yeah, this is really good so far. The previous hazards need to see this because, like, the gold one, because this is, like, really important, you know? Like, your reach is, like, so fucking far. This is beyond 20 meters as well, by the way. This is at least, like, 30 or 25. And you managed to just one-shot the Echo out of nowhere, you know? Character's broken. Hopefully, no. You can play slow. Chill. Good wall. Also, Ryan, good. Turning around, good. Going on Baptiste, good. A little bit clunky there. A little bit clunky. Okay. Good jump, yeah, good.
That's gonna hurt.
Your wall is really bad. Your walls are really bad. Now, you can wall right here, and then either catch both of them, or even one of them is good enough, and then get a kill. Yeah. I didn't even hate the leap. I didn't even hate the leap, because, yeah. Because you want to actually catch these characters. It's the wall. Fine. Zone. Yeah, really good actually. So good zoning, playstyle. Shit. Did not mean to do that. Ugh. So you get slept there. I think the block's good as well. I mean, the Baptiste is dead and the Ana's being zoned by the Genji. So I might go with that, and then you zone the Winston with the wall. So good stuff.
Always watching out for you.
Okay.
Can he keep up with me?
That's your next fight. Okay. Yeah, so like my issue here is the zoning now is a lot more difficult because the map is a lot more open. This wall is barely blocking any LOS, right? So as soon as the Winston jumps in, I don't want you chasing the Winston, right? In the last fight, it was fine because he was jumping in a much more enclosed space and it was a lot more narrow. So if you walled right here or you walled right here, you would block off LOS entirely. Now, that's not the case because now it's a lot more open in terms of where they're diving to. So where I want you to go to when the Winston jumps in, or when he rotates away, is potentially, I don't know exactly where, but like zoning off these guys is really important. So I'd probably leap from here to here, zone off the backline with the wall. You can wall these guys off fairly easily, and then you can shoot them from high ground, whatever the case may be. But the key idea is these guys need to be looking at you, right? So I'm not sure if you watched section 7B. I think it's section 7B of my hazard guide or 7B II. But it was an example of one of my tank players for one of the teams I coached. I watched the guide, yeah. Basically, he didn't do this at all. Like, he didn't zone the backline at all, really. He was so tunneled on killing and actually diving rather than actually zoning. So here, you're kind of doing that brawl playstyle. He did the dive playstyle in that situation. But both of you need to be going for that zone right now. And right now, you're not clearly doing it. Like, there's some attempts because you're walling this. There's some attempt here, but I don't know how much LOS is clears from the it doesn't do anything, right? Like a wall right in front of the Ana does a lot more. So again, needs to be zoning. But zoning a lot more on the Ana specifically. Because again, like, you basically do nothing to the Winston. Especially considering he's nano boosted as well here. But regardless of that, like, you don't do much to him. And you're not great at peeling, so. Like, what you're doing now is good. This is good, but I want it to done over here. I want it done over here, right? Not on point. And again, you're forced to block it because you're not playing cover. Or there's not much cover to use, right? Hence why, like, playing here and then just using the high ground as cover almost, or even dropping down and using this thing as cover, and then they need to swing super wide to come and peek you. That's really important. So again, it's all linking back together a little bit, right? Where you're zoning, first off, you're using wall correctly, you're playing an aggressive but safe angle right here, and then they're forced to swing all around to come and actually get you. So yeah. Whereas now you're just wasting block. You probably still would have lost that fight regardless because your backline dies to an Ana Winston, which shouldn't really happen, but yeah. I mean, did they even get naded? I have no idea what happened. What's that nade? Oh, she just wasted it. Oh. Yeah, against the better Ana, like, your team's good.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Like, shield, this is just bad. Fucking terrible nano as well. But yeah, generally in terms of overall, like, zoning the backline here, despite the Ana wasting her cooldowns, because the whole point of zoning is that you'll eat, sleep, dart, nade, the fight-winning cooldowns essentially, but also being fairly lethal yourself. Yeah, the wall has to be first thing, right? Either wasting it, using too far, can be your own bigger. I think I'll say zoning. 1 second. Or like patience, I'd say. Micro, wall usage, with actual landing your shots. Let's go on to the final code. I was like waiting for you. Hang on, I need to fix Discord, hang on. Yo! Hello. Alright, yeah, just screen sharing this real quick. So yeah, there's honestly not too much to mention about the enemy team's comp here. It's funny that you say you struggle against reaching the enemy backline, considering that these guys haven't got much mobility. Like, this person not really, this person should be fairly easy to kill, this person's only got coach gun, you're not going to be dueling this person much, and this person's going to be the only hard person to actually reach. So, of course... Yeah, it's going to be the Sojourn here, right? Of course, your Kyoko dies here initially, which isn't ideal here, but really... I'll look at you moving to the Sojourn here because I understand why, considering you want to mark her. But my main qualm, I guess, is you can zone these two entirely. You can zone these 3 characters here entirely. Not to mention, this person's also getting a pocket here as well, so I put more priority in terms of zoning these people but just purely for the fact that they're more dangerous, and again, you've got a slightly better matchup into Ashe than you do into Sojourn. But yeah, we'll see what actually ends up happening here. So hopefully your Kiriko should come back in time. Where's Winston going? Okay. What should you do here when Winston goes in?
Winston goes in, look to zone backline.
Yeah, fairly simple. In that case, that either looks like, again, going on this person, or jumping up over here and going on these two targets. Now, this is a really bad dive, because this person's got no LOS onto the Winston, this person is isolated from her entire backline, so this shouldn't end up in resulting in a kill, but again, hopefully, going on either one of these targets, maybe the Brig as well to some extent, should force Mercy Beam to go onto them. So hopefully, you can zone these guys fairly effectively. Like here, like you're just AFK, you know? Which again, not ideal. Blood is still AFK. Okay, there we go. Good. He's just feeding, of course. Okay, fine. So yeah, like when you are actually doing stuff, you're doing it fairly well. Like your cooldowns here have been pretty good so far. I always watch that from a top-down perspective in terms of like where the enemy Ashe are actually at. Ooh, Dynamite zones your soldier. But not doing much. Okay, fine. Yeah, the Brig just happens to be isolated there, but of course in a higher elo like this Brig will actually swing with her team. I don't know why she's going alone, but yeah. Okay. Let's see how this next bit goes. Nice one shots. Block's fine, she's low enough. Fine. Okay. I think I'll lose the Brig there when you ward her off.
I try to wall her like towards me instead of away.
Yeah, because like if you get a good wall here, or like the placement slightly better, then
she does.
It's a better one shot, right? Yeah. So obviously, yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate.
It's gonna.
Okay, that's fine though. Okay. Some slight micro block usage, but I'm looking at where you're going. You've got no. You need to get out. Leave. Because. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, because if you get your wall back in time, that's a free kill.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, you do get it back in time. Okay, that works. Okay, fine. I normally say play slower, but considering that like you're already you've got such a massive pick and your cooldowns are coming back on time.
With the Winston.
And yeah, this is a kill the Winston as well. And again, you're fairly good HP there. I'm actually okay with you playing a little bit faster there. Okay, nice. Okay. Okay. Honestly, reach doesn't seem to be that big of an issue so far. It's mainly been like, again, zoning.
Yeah, it was mostly later in the game.
Later in the game, okay.
Yeah.
Like on second, I would imagine it'd be second point, right? Because it's fairly like long distance. Yeah, okay. We'll skip to that then, because it might be more interesting. Actually, we'll see how you use Hadi here. Okay. I'm not a massive fan. So yeah, what's the issue?
Yeah. Issue, Winston has bubble. I kind of try to ult the Ashe because she used Coach Gun.
Right.
Also, my team doesn't really have LOS if I do hit them because they're behind the pillow.
Exactly. So, like, yeah, I mean, in this world, like, I think it's actually perfectly fine for you to go for it if you know he hasn't got bubble, but he does, obviously.
Yeah, I didn't, yeah.
So, yeah. There's not enough triggers for you to hard engage this, in short.
Yeah.
Still not terrible, but yeah. Oh. Okay. Fine. Okay, sure. But nothing major than micro-wise. Yeah, she's feeding. Holy shit, she's feeding. Okay, get ready out, that's good. Okay. Fine. Okay, so backline, good.
Yeah, if I wanted to go away, I could have just done that without the wall.
Do you need to leave here? Or like jump off the high grounds?
No, I could have just stayed on high.
Right. Yeah, because like
Stay on high, poke the Ashe and stuff.
it's literally all about like prolonging how long you can actually stay here for, rather than again. Because right now, when you drop off, you're out in open space. You're gonna be forced out. Your corner's gonna get forced out anyways.
Yeah.
So again, a little bit issue there with zoning. Because like here, like you can definitely do a lot of damage to the Ashe from this distance, without
Yeah.
having to use your leap.
That'll cut them up.
Okay. And yeah, like I noticed like where you're looking at, and it's not the enemy backline. It's the Winston or the Bob. Look at the Bob there, then look at the Winston a little bit. When it's in actuality, it's like these guys. This fucking damage boosted person that's peeking your Bastion right now is the dangerous person. And just the Surgeon as well. So yeah, a little bit more time or a little bit more focus on zoning those characters. Okay. Probably for a shred at this point. You're probably dead. Yeah. Bro's dead. Okay. Alright. Let's see this. Okay, fine, she's feeding. Okay. A little bit ballsy, but I think that's fine considering how many people you're up already. Okay. Fine, good wall. I mean, a little bit. What are you? No, you just got bullets there. Yeah, she's not low enough for you to be blocking here, so yeah, but it's not a major thing considering it's the first time you've done this, so fine. Wall. Oh, you have a wall. My bad. I thought you. That was the leap. Maybe I can't pull down the wall. Fine, now just the Winston. Maybe a bit of micro, but potentially you can body block him from actually entering the
Yeah,
doorway.
I tried to body block him, but then because I slashed, I got out the way.
Right, yeah.
If I don't slash, I still body block him though.
Okay, what is that bit doing? Holy shit.
Yeah, he's like the break OTP of OC.
Yerzy.
Yep.
My goats. The fucking big OTP of OC is still dog shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But
Wait, you know him?
I know I don't know him, but like I just find it funny that like the OTP in your region is still trash at the character. But yeah. Okay, relatively fine.
Actually, I used to lose against him all the time.
Really, I mean.
And but then I realized he's just feeding.
Yeah. Okay, so in this situation, I don't actually mind you looking at the Winston here, because this Ashe hasn't got LOS to your backline. Again, like, if she had a better line of sight or a better angle to go onto your backline, then obviously
she's more threatening than the Winston.
Exactly, right? But now she's like doing fuck all, so this is actually fine going on the Winston here. Okay. Fine. What is that person doing? Okay. Speed it up a little bit more. And I was literally just gonna say, but, I mean, the vehicle's just feeding the entire time, so like it was actually fine for you to like keep holding where you were. But like again, this is like a really good angle. Like this is really, it's the epitome of like aggressive but safe. They cannot force you out here at all without swinging wide. Okay, sure, that works. Okay, fine. I'll set that wall again. So that's fine. Wall the Sojourn. Okay, fine. Fine.
This ends.
Oh my days.
Yeah, but Sky was losing it.
Okay,
Sky
good
was
denial.
too.
Take on Sojourn, please. Good. Yeah, how do you lose this? Like, this is. I mean, I think the second they break past this choke is going to be really hard for you.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens here. It is really hard for them to actually push past because any other side they go, like it's constantly within their range, like all the entire time. It's really
Yeah, that's why I
hard
try
for
to
them
play close to this.
Right, yeah.
Play closer.
Ah, your cast dies there. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's not on, yeah. Okay, just go over extends. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, why block here?
I don't know, to be honest. I should just shot him.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's literally like stuck between a rock and a hard place. Quite
Yeah.
literally. So yeah, the shot shouldn't be too hard to land.
Yeah.
Okay, leave goods. Okay. Fine. I'll just wish again.
I just didn't think there was any way I would live that.
Sure, yeah. Get Hadi out, that's fine, I suppose. Hadi,
Yeah.
Bob out, and OC. Okay, we'll see how this goes.
This fight I just completely feed. I think, or is the next one maybe.
Okay, that looks fine to me. Okay, you catch the Mercy at least. Why not bait the Mercy coming to get the res? Because I feel like she might get the res here.
Yeah, she does, but I thought I just needed to go to point.
Oh yeah, because of point.
Because
Sure,
there's
sure.
not much, yeah, there's not much else going on my team could touch.
I think it's fine. Cool. Flexibility, that's fine. Okay. You're saying you feed this fight. It's fine to me.
No, it's next fight then.
Because so far there's like very few issues there. In
Yeah.
terms of the actual micro.
I think what I got most better with is like maybe my wall.
Yeah, your
think I'm
wall's
actually
been pretty
liking
good
my
so
walls.
far. For sure. Okay, yep, sure. Fine. What's your cast? Is he back? He's on carts. Ugh. Yeah, it's really rough because you really want to be holding closer against the enemy team comp.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about where you can actually play such that you can still reach the enemy backline, and let them come towards you because they technically do need to make a play here.
I think it's central pillar, just on that high ground, around that middle point.
Like what here?
Because, yeah.
Why there?
Because if their wins, I would say that Winston has to do something. He has to either jump to high. If he jumps to high, I can slash and wall and whatever. If he goes past there, then his
Right.
backline has to follow him.
Right.
And if they go low ground, it's just really good for me.
I guess my concern is if you hold this sort of pillar here, their Ashe can play here, and I think this is just without your reach, or even the Sojourn here as well. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
and then your backline kind of gets screwed. So like, I'm also thinking like holding around this kind of area here potentially, where again it's really hard to force you out, but you can still reach the backline here, fairly easily.
Yeah.
You can even be a little bit cheeky and maybe hold this room here as well. Maybe this corner here, but the idea being is that like you're playing such an angle such that they can't really force you out. And again, every single angle you've got, you can still contest the high ground here. So
Yeah, that
you're
makes sense.
almost baiting them to use this high ground. In other words, so we'll see
Yeah.
how this goes. Because I'm scared that like again you're not going to be able to reach. Like again, look at exactly. Like look at this. You know, like they're already starting to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit
Yeah, I
afraid.
see.
I went some jumps. Yeah, there we go. Pull some out. Okay. Like now you're basically going to need to leave here essentially, right? Because like your entire team, even though like no one died here, no one's on high grounds because they're so scared of the enemy Ashe, Sojourn, whatever, right? Because like this is not.
Yeah.
If you're playing Bastion or Cass,
Yeah.
it's not favorable to take this, which makes sense for them. But yeah, and I think you don't realize that, and then you end up hard engaging this. Yeah, you hard engage on 480 HP, which is not great. The
Yeah.
team's not with you, and even though the range here is actually fairly fine because the Sojourn actually walks for this. Actually commits past that even, so that's even better, right? Even though you've got like a cooldown and somewhat of a positional advantage, no one's with you, and again, I would even argue against that positional advantage because there's 4 people here, you know, you're taking a 1v4 effectively.
Yeah.
So I think, again, if you were in a team, I think this could maybe still work. Like, if you had, like, I don't know, a Bastion hiding here, or, like, you did some sort of, like, creative play, then I think maybe this could actually work out fairly well. But, yeah, like, just a little bit of lack of awareness for, where your team actually want to be playing. Okay. Yeah, now you get forced out, and you probably die for this. Yeah. That's literally just entirely on A, where you're playing, and B, not accounting for where the rest of your team are actually playing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate there. Okay. And that's probably second point if anyone else dies.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah.
The payload has
I think one thing as well to think about this as well is abusing corners when you can. because when, and especially in this elo as well, even in like tier 2, they still make this mistake. But whenever like people turn around corners, they will always hug the corner, which is really bad for them, because that means that it should be easy for you to actually hard engage onto them. Because again, like imagine you're holding literally right here, like this Sojourn's like cooked. And you're actually fine, because you can actually drop off the high grounds if you absolutely need to, or like, you know, you get forced out, whatever the case may be. But yeah. Okay.
The payload has reached.
Alright. We'll see third point, and then we'll do a quick summary at the end. And then I'll see you in like fucking 12 hours or whatever the case is.
Yes. What time is it for me? It's 2:40 AM for me right now.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say, like, why are you awake at this time?
I was playing Overwatch. I'm almost to GM4. I'm like 78%.
Damn. Actually, what even is... Hang on, let me quickly check. I can check. There's an OCE ladder, right?
No. I was playing on that the world account, which it doesn't have enough games to be for top 500.
Is it not? Is it Asia that you guys are in?
No, it's America's.
America's, okay.
Yeah.
Where's the start at? Oh, fucking Diamond 1! Okay, yeah. Just play more games, you'll get it. Okay.
Yeah. No, I still need to get at the 50 games, because that account, you need like 750 games played.
Yeah. It's actually, it's kind
and that
of
account that account doesn't even have 100. So
yeah, probably not gonna get it anytime soon.
Yeah. I'm just gonna play on my main to try and get a top 500.
Does your main actually have 750 games?
Yeah, it has enough.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Well, I do just play
Thankfully, that's... Yeah.
Okay. Take the Tiger on here, fine. What's that, Winston? Good wall, it's gonna say. Good. Okay. Did he... Oh, why did he jump back? Okay. So what you do here is perfectly reasonable. What the Winston's doing here is really dumb. So yeah, it's really unfortunate, because I wouldn't even expect the Winston to jump back. This is feeding. But yeah, against a better Winston, he'll just jump out. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, you can actually, I mentioned this before when going over the other hazard players, but you can see that what you're doing here is actually forcing the Mercy to come closer. And again, this is how you get reach, by doing what you're doing here. So this is one way to do it. Okay. Right. Fine. Yeah, you've got no healing now, so that's okay. If you jump it, can they see you? Oh, barely, not really. Okay, we'll see where you... I think this is fine where you're going at, because again, you still got reach.
Yeah.
That wall is a little bit questionable.
I know.
I mean, I'll play it, because I might be missing something here. There's another Bastion there. Yeah, so why do you actually wall here?
Maybe I was planning on like dropping on the Mercy or something, but then just said no.
Yeah,
That's the only way I see my wall actually having a use there.
Yeah.
Or like I put the wall and then I get nanoed and just go in using it or something, but...
Right, like you don't know you're gonna get nano boost here, but I think you kind of need to be soft engaging this, and I think that's like maybe this wall's like a tear between whether your choice between soft engaging or hard engaging this, because you are really close to your actual ultimate here, and you're honest got nano boost as well, not to mention. But yeah, I think at least soft engaging this, not committing the wall, like either going on the Mercy, maybe wall climbing up, going on the Mercy, walling off, going on the Mercy, using cart as cover, wherever the case may be, or hell, even dropping and then leaping back to this angle here. Just some kind of soft engage this to get ult charge, to get good position, to get some space, etc. And then when you get nano boosted, or maybe you don't get nano boosted, wherever the case is, you should have your ultimate, and then you can hard engage afterwards. So yeah, a little bit like almost like Doomfist in that way, in that kind of way, where maybe it's a bit harder for Doomfist on this specific map, but again, you'd be soft engaging as Doomfist to get ult charge, then hard engaging afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, yeah, had you like gone on social there, that wall there would have been very, very nice and clean.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know you're blocking this because you just missed 3 shots on the Kiriko. Or 2 rather. But yeah.
Yeah, only 2. It's not that bad.
That's a good block
Not
though.
bad.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Relatively. Hang on. What the hell happened here? I'm not gonna blame you for that, to be honest. You're decent HP there. Yeah, the Kiriko used Suzu. She was used TP as well, fairly low HP. Yeah, I'm actually fairly not too annoyed about that. The real question is how the Ashe gets the high ground here. Maybe fucking bewildered by. Let's see.
Do something!
Bob's first. Yeah, like this is why soft engaging is really important, because had you done that, like either some kind of way, regardless of whether you go on Mercy, Kiriko, or Ashe here, the Ashe is going to be looking at you. If you soft engage this, and then
Yeah,
again,
no, she doesn't go high
she doesn't go
ground.
high ground now. Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunate. Okay. Okay. Go back. Fine. I think that's fairly reasonable. I was just gonna say that it's actually fine to use your ult here because the bubble's already been used, so and they're actually right in front of you here. So yeah, even if they've got coach gun and whatnot, it shouldn't be enough mobility to escape your ult from there. Which it isn't, so there you go. Okay, fine. And that should be okay, what's she doing? Okay.
Join me.
30 seconds here, we'll see what happens here. Okay, good wall, nice. Spike the party switch. Oh my god, your fucking Kiriko helps you.
This ends.
Okay, forces Valkyrie and Sojournals. Fine. Yeah, just impatience.
Yeah, I know.
Like, the fact that no one dies initially from the OC tells you that you can take your time. And, you know, because your team's taking their time. So yeah, your team's DPing the OC right now. So, yeah, a little bit rushed there. And that actually would have been a fairly nice soft engage, just to actually just zone the entire enemy backline to clear the Winston. So yeah, I think it actually ends up being okay, because your zoning is actually pretty decent here. The wall zones off the Sojourn, partially the Kiriko to a lesser extent, and you're also holding an aggressive but safe position. So your zoning's fine here, but slightly unintentional. And the block here, yeah, you're just not taking any visual.
Yeah.
So, definitely nice. And again, I think the impatience is coming to bite you back a little bit here as well, because I don't think you actually spot the Ashe, and again, you end up blocking too early because of that. So, unfortunate. Okay. Fine. Fine. A little bit micro there with hitting your shots, but fairly okay with cycle priority. Okay. I'll quickly summarize this. Put that text. I'll say, like, I think the most important thing is, probably, I don't want to say zoning or positioning exactly. I don't have to exactly say it. Yeah, okay, I'll still say, like, I'll guess, positioning relative to, your team's range and creep, and again forcing players to turn corners slash come closer to you based on where you hold.
Yeah, like with the corner, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably say a little bit to do with zoning here as well, so it probably applies to first point and third a little bit more. First and third. Soft engaging to prolong resources. And third thing, I mean, those are honestly the two major things, because your walls have been pretty good so far. I think, again, the aggressive but safe stuff you were doing on second point defense initially. The tech's been pretty good as well. The ult's been fairly decent. I'll probably say, like, just a little bit micro. Like, again, trigger discipline probably. On thirds. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this short stint. And yeah, as I normally say, anything else? I mean, you can ask me in 16 hours roughly, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I think I'll ask you in 16 hours.
Cool. Yeah, see you to then. The way I want to structure this is talking about Hardy's the matchup here first, and then a little bit into his like decision making later. So the first thing to like note with the comps, and I 100% know that Hardy's probably thinking about this when he actually knows what the enemy team are running here. But the first thing to note between the enemy comps is the backlines. Now I've talked about this in videos beforehand. I also do know that my camera is blocking, the top right, but hopefully you know that this is a Kiriko and an Ana and a Genji right here, just so you guys actually are aware of that. But the difference between the Brig Ana here and the Kiriko Ana is that this has significantly more sustain and this has significantly more mobility. Now, why does that matter? Well, if Hadi decides to trade backlines against the enemy backline, who's going to win, right? Is if their hazard goes onto this Ana and Hadi goes onto their Ana, Hadi will lose because the Brig will pack the Ana and Brig's got more sustain, whereas the Kiriko might be on a different flank, and she herself is actually pretty squishy. So, from the get-go, we already know trading backlines is not in the favour for Hadi. So, what should he actually be doing here? Well, because the Kiriko can actually help out the Genji, and to a lesser extent the Sojin, a lot more, because she can actually take wider angles and actually support those characters by TPing to them, a lot of what Hardy's job is going to be is just forcing out the enemy tank here and or forcing out the enemy tracer and preventing these guys from ever managing to get on top of his own backline. And again, he's able to do that because the Kiriko should be able to help him out more than the Brig can actually help out the hazard and the enemy tracer here. Now there's some caveats to that, there's some exceptions to that, right? Like if the enemy tracer is playing defensively, or if the enemy tracer is playing within the line of sight of her Brig, then that becomes a little bit more muddy, but even then, that's actually perfectly fine. Because if the tracer's playing that defensively, then this person is no longer playing, doesn't have to play that scared, right? Like, again, if this person's playing super defensively in LOS of their Brig, then this Ana is actually going to be pretty okay. Like, they're going to be okay with that. So, we'll see how this actually ends up panning out here, but that's really the key macro about playing Hazard in this matchup, I guess, I suppose. Okay. So a lot of this initial attack is just going to be Hadi trading blows back and forth against the enemy hazard and just seeing if he can get a better wall, a better HP trade, that kind of thing. Maybe baiting the enemy hazard to come to him and make him waste cooldowns so then he can actually push in afterwards. So we'll see how this actually ends up panning out for Hadi here. Okay, lead there's fine, and again, immediately, we can see him warding off the enemy hazard here, and I think Kappa's probably going to leap away, right? And again, this buys space and it buys time for his backline to actually walk through and rotate past the choke. Meanwhile, also notice, this is an aggressive but safe position, because he's safe away from the enemy backline who's playing on that high ground, but he's also playing aggressively because he can actually one-shot anyone coming up to the high ground, he can control this sort of lane here, and maybe if anyone overextends, not saying they actually will, but if anyone overextends and rushes the backline, you can actually punish them from this position here. So this is a really good position by Hadi. Okay. So yeah, wall climbs up just to be able to control the high ground. So yeah, wall climbs up just to be able to control the high ground a bit more directly. Scouting down the stairway, that's fine as well. And now we're just getting into a lot of trading back and forth between him and the enemy hazard here. So honestly, not too much to talk about here, barring a little bit of micro. But we can break that down a little bit. That's really good. Forces the hazard away, really nice. My only gripe is that Hadi could have maybe blocked this. Not blocked, sorry. He could have actually walled this because his wall comes back off cooldown. So he really could have blocked behind the hazard here. Or sorry, again, wall behind the hazard here. Block the LOS between the Honor and the hazard. And also prevent Kappa's retreat and hell, whoever knows, right? Maybe even land a kill on the enemy hazards here. So a little bit of a missed opportunity there by Hadi. Still, this is a good start. It's just a little bit unfortunate that, again, his Sojourn ends up dying to the enemy Tracer. We don't see how that happens just yet. I actually think, if I go back a little bit, you can see that when he climbs to the high ground here, the enemy Tracer's playing to the right side. So yeah, literally right there, and the Sojourn gets caught between a rock and a hard place. So, if anything, I actually wouldn't say this is on Hadi. It's more so on the Genji and or the Kiriko, stacking for literally no reason and not forcing out this person, you know? This Genji and Kiriko should be swinging wide, controlling the map, looking to get a good actual flank and force out the Tracer, instead of actually stacking behind the entire team the entire time. Okay. It's really unfortunate. So far, so good by Hadi, generally speaking. Again, could have walled off the hazard there. But now you can see, now you can see him actually spend a lot more time actually looking to force out the enemy Tracer, right? He drops down, looks to actually go into the enemy Tracer here, looks for the enemy Tracer here, and then as Genji actually does his job, looks to force out the enemy Tracer, and I believe Hadi actually walls off the enemy Tracer right now. It gets a wall there. Now, I'm not a massive fan of that wall, because even though it technically does prevent the Tracer from taking the high ground, she's never actually going to push back here anyways. Like, she's what Tracer in any universe is going to actually walk up this narrow corridor, right? No one, really, right? They're literally going to be playing wide like this, or playing this angle over here. They're not going to be playing up the stairs, realistically. So, I think it's a little bit of a wasted wall by Hadi there. Now, though, we get into some, like, really nice micro, where he actually gets a very good, like, block onto the enemy hazard here, by blocking the specific burst of damage by the slash. So he just blocks the slash there, which is really nice, and then goes back straight to shooting. And he gets the better slash there. So all this means that he's actually basically full HP, whereas he has lost all his armor, and he's forced to block, forced the Honor to actually nade him, and again, if Hadi got a good wall here, or he kept the wall right now, he could very, very easily wall off the hazard again, and try and get another kill. So, yeah, missed opportunity there by Hadi yet again. Fairly mediocre wall here by Hadi. Again, I would have wished he would have just kept the wall, or again, the prior two examples there. But yeah, this entire fight, not too much to actually add on. The team just kind of crumble from the enemy Sojourn and Tracer. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. So again, like this, okay. So in this fight here, I think Hadi actually is doing a pretty good job of, again, trying to force out the enemy Tracer. Notice how in the Plat hazard, I'm not sure if you actually watched that section there, but in the Plat hazard example, a lot of the time, the hazard didn't actually go for the enemy Reaper, right, or the enemy flanker, right? They actually went a lot on the enemy Ramatra a lot of the time. Whereas Hadi is actively looking to force out the enemy Tracer. So while he doesn't get the slash here on the actual Tracer, A, it's fairly close, and B, it tries to force out the Tracer from taking this angle. Like, it forces him out to go back to this angle. So it's really important because all of what Hadi's doing right now is creating space for his Sojourn to walk, for his Honor to walk, for his Genji to walk. And again, they really shouldn't be stacked like this in Champion, but still, he's doing a good job here forcing out the enemy Tracer. Really good job there. Again, a wasted wall by Hadi. I don't know why he's walling that, because the Tracer can just blink around it, and it's not even like he's walling to finish the kill, because the Tracer's still fairly healthy. So yeah, it's a little bit of a perplexing move there by Hadi, but again, still a good job macro-wise forcing out the enemy hazard there. And here, you can see the enemy hazard just feeds. I think he tries to go for a dive on the enemy Kiriko, but the reach is just too far, and he hasn't got enough triggers there. So nice kill onto the enemy hazard here, and this actually opens up the rest of second point. Okay, leaps to the corner. Again, a really nice, aggressive but safe position. You would have known this if you watched my Hadi, or not Hadi guide, sorry, my Hazard guide. You'll know that I use this specific example because you can aggress onto the high ground here while still being safe by using the cover, by using the high ground, and you can also threaten the angle coming here, and you can threaten anyone coming onto point. So this is a really, really nice, flexible, aggressive but safe position that actually gets the best of both worlds. Now with the Hazard advantage, Hadi goes into the enemy backline here. Again, if he kept his wall, you could actually very easily wall up these guys and look for an actual dive either onto the Ana or onto the enemy Sojourn. Okay. And now all he's doing is just zoning. So again, this links back to the zoning playstyle in my Hazard guide, but he's just zoning this entire corridor, and the second someone puts a step past this doorway, or the second someone gets slept, then he's gonna actually hard engage. So you can see right now, he's just poking, zoning, poking, zoning, poking, zoning. That wall is to zone the brig, poking, zoning, and right now the enemy brig walks and gets slept by his own Ana, and that gives him the perfect trigger to actually hard engage on the enemy brig here. Perfect, right? Classic textbook play. From here, warning the Hazard here, and yeah, I think from here on it's basically the guaranteed point for Hadi's team. Okay. Ugh. Okay. This is all relatively fine. So far, as soon as he caps point, going to the enemy Hazard is completely reasonable. Notice how he leaps away from the enemy backline, so he's actually avoiding the Ana and Tracer, and he's also got a HP advantage against the enemy Hazard here. So fairly fine choice by Hadi to push his advantage onto the enemy Hazards. Good wall there for one time as well. Okay. Hadi's playing fine. He's grabbed some Mega. All good. Goes up. All so far so good. Fine. Pulls the enemy Hazard off. I'm very unfortunate that Sojourn dies again, but it is what it is. Again, this entire VOD, I think one thing that Hadi's done really, really well is, despite his walls, he's constantly put more pressure consistently on the enemy Hazard and the enemy Tracer compared to what the Hazard's doing onto him, which is actually really nice to see. Okay. Fine. Okay, the Sojourn gets another pick again. Really unfortunate. Okay. Fine. And again, I think this is also important to analyze, is his one shot on the enemy brig here, because why does he go for this, right? Well, firstly, the brig is playing splits, or not two split, but a position such that you can split the brig with your wall, and that's exactly what Hadi's doing here. Secondly, Hadi's actually fairly safe, right? Because he can just strafe back into the little room to the right side, and even if he doesn't land the kill here, it's very unlikely that he's going to get punished for this. So, again, an aggressive but safe play. The brig's also well within Hadi's reach, so, again, he can actually go into the brig, and as I kind of mentioned a bit earlier on in the Plat section, it's actually really easy to go for a one-shot on the brig, generally speaking, because she hasn't got much mobility, right? If you look at Lucio, if you look at to a lesser extent Juno, and to a lesser extent Kiriko, but especially Lucio, like, he is so mobile, plus the boop, it's so hard to get the one shot onto him. But Brig, if you get a good wall, she's actually very killable, and despite her shield here, you can see that Hadi gets Ange pretty down low. And also notice as well that after Hadi realizes that he can't actually finish the kill with his block, he stops blocking and continues to shoot Ange, right? So many big players, or so many Hazard players would have just kept blocking for actually no reason there, right? Again, there's no aggression on the screen. The only person playing aggressively at the moment is Ange, and he's not scared of Ange, right? Because he's fucking Brig. So, yeah, that's really important to understand there. Okay. Alright.
What's happening?
Okay. And again, here in this fight here, you can actually see Hadi doing a little bit of zoning here. Again, I think this is, again, really smart, aggressive but safe positioning that zones the enemy backline. So Hadi hasn't actually got a trigger to hard dive the enemy backline because A, they're all stacked, B, his team can't actually reach the enemy backline here, and C, he's got no trigger There's absolutely no trigger, right? There's no positional trigger. The only trigger he might have is an ultimate trigger, but the Brig can easily block Hazard's ultimate by facing upwards. And even if he hit the Honor and maybe the Sojourn, if he tried to follow up on it, he would just get slept and die. So he's just soft pressuring the backline here, zoning them out, making the backline look at him and not his own backline. So yeah, good zoning play by Hadi here. Okay, Ben unfortunately gets booped off there, but that's fine. Flashes the Brig, and again, drops off the high ground. Again, just to zone out the enemy Brig, force out the enemy Brig on to actually look at him. So yeah, fairly good play by Hadi there. And there we go, right? Forces out the enemy rally and nano boost, but because he soft engages that, he avoids that ultimate combo entirely, which is actually really, really nice to see. So yeah, had he hard engaged that, he could be a little bit more vulnerable, even though his team is not bleeding right now, he could be a little bit more vulnerable to the enemy Brig and the Honor, but because he soft engaged that, he's completely safe here. Okay. And here, tries to go for a one-shot, fairly fine though. And I think that's mainly it for this fight here. Oh yeah, the enemy Sojourn, yeah. So this is just a complete feeding play by the enemy Sojourn. And look how quickly Hadi smells blood in the water, right? Like, the enemy Sojourn waits power slide, and he's immediately on that. In fact, he's so quick on that he misses the slash because he really wants to punish the Sojourn here. So yeah, of course he could be a little bit more patient with that, but I think it's a good sign that he actually even slashes a bit early for this, because he really needs to punish the enemy Sojourn here in time before she can get peeled by her own Brig, right? So again, I think he also messes up the wall here slightly. Or not even, I actually guess if I did some more there, but yeah, the slash there a little bit too antsy there, a little bit too early there, but in terms of the actual one shot, again, that's absolutely textbook. He's got a trigger within range, easy kill. Okay. W-Ange dies. Let's go, dude. And again, comparing this to the enemy or to the past version of the video, or the past, you know, the Plat Hazard here, he's actually forcing out the enemy Tracer, unlike the Plat Hazard. Now, of course, he leaves the Tracer, but that's mainly because the Tracer's just going to be too far away, and he can't catch up to the Tracer here. But again, in terms of the macro of what he's doing, that's actually fairly reasonable. Okay. I think the only thing that I might need to explain is when to zone the enemy backline, or when to actually go and force out the enemy Tracer and the enemy Hazard here, because again, when do you do which, right? Why is Hadi zoning out the Brig on a Sojourn here instead of forcing out the enemy Tracer and the enemy Hazard here? Why is he doing that, even though this entire VOD I've actually said Hadi needs to be forcing out the enemy Hazard and the enemy Tracer here? Why is he doing that? Well, the main reason is distance or reach and triggers, right? So in this example, Hadi is very close to the enemy Honor and Brig, right? Meaning he can actually directly contest these characters and directly zone them, right? Similar to how if Hardy's playing right here, he can directly contest the high grounds. Comparably, most of first point, he's actually playing this high grounds, right? And if you're playing Hazard here, you just can't zone the enemy Brig Honor who's playing this sort of room here if you're playing way over here. You can't do it, right? If you're playing Sigma, you can do it because your shield is a lot wider. If you're playing Mei, maybe you can do it. Mei's a bit of a different case there, right? But if you're playing Sigma, yeah, you can do it. But Hazard, you can't, right? Hazard, you need to be up close and personal. A, because of your wall. B, because of your shotgun. And C, because of just the range of your character in general, right? Your block usage as well is also important. So that's why you're mainly seeing Hadi force out the Tracer and the Hazard here from the get-go, but also zone out the backline here when he can actually go onto them in time. Or actually get in range to zone them. Thought I'd bring that up because they might confuse some viewers. Okay. To finish us off, I want to go over one fight here where Hadi uses spikes, and I think it's a bit of a mistake here. So I recommend watching Capitology's video on baiting. I might link it here on the screen or on the top right, who knows, maybe I'm too lazy to do that. To be honest, I probably am. But basically, what baiting is teasing the enemy team's frontline to engage, so that you can absorb their engage a lot easier, right? the way you bait properly is by applying pressure to the enemy tank to engage and keeping your backline really far away from the enemy tank, away from the enemy hazard here in this example, right? That's how you do it. That's how you tease him to actually engage. Now, Hadi in this fight, no surprise, gets baited. And the reason why I think he gets baited here is because he just doesn't know that the enemy team are actually baiting him to actually hard engage this, because this is too much distance. Actually here, right? This is too much distance for Hadi to cross. And he actually ends up committing spikes for this, right? So in this fight, I'll talk about what he should have done in a brief moment, but I think Hadi, and this was even evidence in the Grand Finals of Stockholm, where SSG in general didn't really understand or didn't really know or read when the enemy team were baiting them to engage, and sometimes they did bait themselves, but that's for a different story entirely, right? But Hadi here just doesn't actually read that the enemy team are baiting him to engage. So you can see right about anytime soon when he gets back his slash here, and actually what Hadi should be doing here, what he should be doing is wall climbing this and scouting and seeing if the enemy team are playing further back and they're trying to bait him here, which they actually are. Look how far the Kiriko is away from the high ground. She's ready to drop. She's completely ready to drop at any time, you know, because of how far she's playing away. And the Sojourn, of course, can just power slide back as well. And Hadi gets baited by the enemy team's positioning here, and he actually hard engages this. So we'll play the clip here, and we'll see what Hadi does and why this is so bad. And also we'll also see why baiting is so strong, and we'll see this in a moment here. So he pops Q, he gets the enemy hazard here, and because he's hazard, he just lives. He does get a good wall, but again, it's not enough because hazard lives. He just lives, right? And now, look at the enemy team, right? They've all lived, and Hadi has used spikes, Sojourn has used overclock, his Kiriko has used Kitsune Rush. They've used 3 ultimates, and they've got nothing out of it. Right? The only thing they've got out of it is space, and that's not enough for 3 ultimates. You need to be getting kills if you're using 3 ultimates here, right? So, what should have Hadi done here instead, right? So, first off, he should have just scouted the enemy team here, first off, right? Easy, right? Secondly, he should have soft engaged this, right? And what I mean by that is leaping over here as he does, but shooting the enemy Sojourn, scaring the enemy Sojourn, shooting the enemy Kiriko, scaring the enemy Kiriko, and then just by virtue of soft engaging this, he scares them to drop off the high ground, and then all of a sudden, he wins high ground control without even having to commit his ultimate here, right? That's all he should have done here, right? He can even wall this if he wants to. He can even wall right here, and then force the enemy Sojourn to commit power slide and drop off the high ground. That could have been a really nice play. That wouldn't have him to use his spikes. And actually, when the enemy team eventually drop off the high grounds, you can spike them underneath here and punish them after they kites, right? That's really important. So that's what Hadi really should have done here, right? But again, the committal, not great. And also, by soft engaging this, if the enemy team for some reason don't drop here, then that's fine. You can just drop the high grounds and still contest it in some kind of way. Again, playing that aggressive but safe angle on this little ledge over here, where you can still contest the high grounds, but you're still safe because you've got the cover here itself on the high grounds, and you've also got another high ground to drop here, and you've got an escape path, right? This is another aggressive but safe angle. So that's what Hadi should have done here. This isn't really a mistake on Hadi not knowing when to hard and soft engage, but more so him just not knowing that the enemy team are baiting him to actually engage like this. So yeah, it makes him waste spikes, which is unfortunate. And yeah, really not great. Okay, that's gonna be it for the analysis. I'll do a quick summary of Hadi's thingy here. There's just gonna be 2 points mainly, which is just the baiting or reading when the enemies are baiting you, and then also more precise slash thoughtful wall usage. Everything else about his play was actually pretty darn good. I think his decision making on a whole was actually really good. His playstyle adaptability is actually really good. Him being able to reach and read one-shots is actually really good. His mechanics, well, of course, really good. So I think barring that, This are the two things I'd say that I think Hadi's play would need a little bit of work on. But yeah, that's it for the video. I'm going to end it off here. I'm going to put this at the end of the actual Unranked GM thing. Thanks for watching. If you made it to this part of the video. As always, I'm starting to realize that my camera is blocking this, so hopefully you can still, not read this, but know what I'm saying here, right? But yeah, barring that, if you enjoyed, let me know down below, and if I should actually do another video like this for a different hero. Until next time.